And we're on, brother.
All right. Good morning, everyone. So excited for you to take a moment and watch this video. Tom Matzen here from Get It Together and the Midas Group of Companies, of course, as you know. And with me, Jay Fiset, the guy that I've been probably the only polite way to describe it is badgering you with for the last week nonstop. I'm pretty sure, Jay, I've now mailed our tribe more information about you than I've mailed about information about me in the last 6 months. That just tells you how committed I am to the work that you're doing. So glad you could take some time on the final cart close day. Glad you could be here.
Well, it has been pretty crazy, to put it mildly, but it is a stunning, amazing, and fun process. We have an inordinate amount of requests. People have been jumping into the program like mad. I am overwhelmed and thrilled and pleased all at one time with the number of questions. I had no idea the number of questions that people would have. So I want to say thank you, and I really appreciate you having this conversation with me, because part of our strategy was we really wanted to work with partners who we knew their list was on track with this, and just do our best to answer more questions, do it at greater with greater leverage. One of the ideas of Masterminds, and just create some additional ways for people to figure out how this is a fit for them, what works, and make a decision. So that's, I really appreciate you doing this today.
I'm happy too, and I love that too, because one of the things I remember from your free event on the weekend was, I'm here to help you make a decision, whether it's yes or no. I don't want you to be on the fence. I want you to be able to make a decision.
Yeah.
And I respect that. I know what that's like. That sometimes there are people that are like, should I? And the ironic part is, as you know, I live on a small island outside of Vancouver. I was grabbing coffee just before the camera was turned on, and I ran into David Shadbold, who just bought your program through one of our links. Thanks, David.
Hey, David.
And but there I am talking to someone that just bought it, already got access to the material, is raving about it. And I can tell you, David's natural default is not to rave. David's one of these guys that sees the glass half empty pretty much all the time. And so I was a little concerned because we talked back and forth several times over the week, because we just see each other for coffee all the time up at this cafe. And I was a little concerned, but I thought, no, as long as he takes a look at it, I know he's going to love it. And kudos to you, because he's a guy that would have just as easily said, so far I'm not so impressed, but I'll keep going. And he wouldn't have batted an eye. Like, it wouldn't have concerned him at all to complain about it. But instead, he was raving about it. And that's why we're such proud supporters of it. That's why we've created this amazing bonus package, stacking up our best possible things that we could offer, because frankly, we want more people to open up masterminds.
And which, on that note of your bonus, Tom, I was going through it, and it's like, do I get it all if I buy my own package? Do I just have to use your link? How's that?
Yes, you do, brother. Yes, you do. You and actually, you and your product launch manager Joshua to both buy in.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure that's never happened in the history of a product launch before. But I mean, that's the strategy of bonuses, as you know, is to make it a no-brainer.
Yes.
Right? That's the strategy. And in this situation, we believe so strongly in it that I sat down and with Alan and Cheryl, our new partner, Cheryl Wallach, and said, okay, what can we do that's just such value of things that we actually sell that, are not just pretend value? Because you and I both know some guys do that. They stack it up with all sorts of pretend value, and it's like, that's okay. Right? But in this case, something that would have a real impact and would be synergistic.
Cool.
That was the other thing. We didn't want it to be completely unrelated.
Cool. So one of the things I like about this call, and I hope that people get the sense of, is that both you and I have been running masterminds for eons. And I was doing a similar call and a chat with Gina Gabellini yesterday, who I love. That woman's got a great sense of humor. And we were talking about, and I think that this is really important in the context of the program, because basically in the launch of Mastermind 90-Day Bootcamp, which, just to be perfectly transparent and clear, gang, our launch ends tonight, and if you've been thinking about this or thinking about masterminds, good Lord, just do it. It'll make a monumental difference. Do it through Tom's link. And if you read the bonus package carefully, I believe he actually buys you a house on Bowen Island, which is fantastic.
It's an old house, though.
You know, I'm from Saskatchewan, actually, and I think if I were to make some calls to some of those small towns in Saskatchewan, I actually think I could bonus some houses for the $5 tax bill. Boom.
Yeah, the only downside is you'd have to move back there.
Well, yes, that would be the downside. There's no question. Anyway, I'm being
Saskatchewan loving friends. I'm a Saskatoon boy. I can relate to that problem.
Yes, exactly. Which, by the way, there's no $2 houses in Saskatoon these days. The real estate there is off the charts.
Yeah.
But not so much in little towns like Scepter and Port Reeve and Limsford, and well, that's not even a town anymore. But anyway, that's a different conversation. But your bonus package, which is really astounding. But before we sort of go through that, Gene and I were having this conversation of, so there are 6 pillars that have to be in line for a mastermind to work. Oh, hey, see you later. Bye, Jaxie. Love ya. Off to school. There are these 6 pillars, and even if one of them is off, it doesn't really work. And I see this all the time. People get, well, you and I were having this conversation. It's like, I am so close, but there's one piece off. And that could be, their personal work is off in terms of their own consciousness. That could be that they didn't get their positioning right out of the gate. Like, there's just one thing off. They don't get member commitment properly. Like, it's just, when these 6 are lined up, it's beautiful. And when they're not, it's a pain in the ass. So what Gene and I were talking about, and we did this. It was like, I'll show you yours. I'll show you mine if you show me yours. Is that we shared our one of our biggest mastermind fiascos. So do you have a fiasco that you would?
Oh yeah, absolutely. My life's been a journey of fiasco. In fact, that actually could be the book. That could be the name of the book. I like that. On the mastermind side, they were flashing back as I was listening in on your weekend call, because I'm positive I violated every one of the mistakes that you said, and I'm positive every one of the 6 key areas that you teach, I did not fully align, either at least one at a time in a mastermind, or sometimes several at a time. And yet still have produced thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands really of total combined revenue from it. And so for me, what was really inspiring was looking, guys, holy cow, like commitment, for example. I'm really big on results in advance, which is like an Uber guarantee to over deliver and over promise, provide value, then charge way more money for it. Mm-hmm. And so we've been doing that with our mastermind, or Get It Together mastermind marketing. And as I'm watching your commitment segment, I realize, damn, I totally get my offer, and it completely violates the rule of commitment, because I'm allowing them to not commit financially. And I realized, just in the sake of like seconds, I still could have done that, just took a big deposit and had it sitting around.
Yep.
Right? It still would have been the exact same thing, a trial, as you explained in detail, even, don't get people to sign the paperwork until you've screened them and qualified. Don't take their check until then. I mean, even that, but you still got their check.
Oh, yes.
Right? You still got it, right? You still got the credit card number, whatever. That, so I was looking at that from fresh eyes for a mastermind. Different than selling a product, different than selling a short-term program. I'm still a big believer in results in advance cold, because I think more people will try it, more people will experience it, and more people will benefit.
Yes.
But in a mastermind, that's the big one. And we created, not only did we do it, we created so many different ways to do it, and we kept seeing it not get results. Mm-hmm. So that part of it not working. When people got in and were committed, they got amazing results.
Yes.
But the getting them in part, and it was sort of like, well, duh. I created my own damn problem. So that's my big one that came up when I was watching the weekend. There's lots of other little ones.
Excuse me. I love that, by the way. And I'd like to just share something, because I think lots of times when people are trying to, market a mastermind or get a client or any of those sorts of things, it's like, oh, I got money, I got a check. And the specific example in the training that Tom is referring to is this, particularly at the high end premium mastermind people. They're busy, they've got stuff going on, it's here's the money, all the rest of it. Is that one of the things that I learned the hard way, and I should be very clear about this one in terms of sharing fiascos. One of the things I learned the hard way is to not take people's money because they can pay. And just the specific mechanic of it is somebody gives a credit card or a check and says, yeah, just deposit. I'm totally doing this. I am thrilled to be a part of this premium mastermind. I can't wait. Run the card for $24K. It's a black card. It's American Express. No worries. All that stuff. And I'll handle the paperwork and the contract, when I get back from Bermuda. And it's like, no, that's not how this is going to go. Just to be perfectly clear, I'm not taking any of your money until we have perfectly clear agreement about how this is going to go. And I'll tell this story. So a friend of mine and I were speaking at an EO event in New Orleans. And so we do this little presentation. We teach a little bit about business models that work, which is one of our bonuses for the Launch Your Mastermind program. Like, you get this $1,000 program that will change how you look, see, and experience business models. Anyway, this character comes up, and he's got like crazy hair, and he's got the crazy socks on, like 8 years before the crazy socks were popular. And comes up and shakes both of our hand and hands over his credit card. Says, I'm not really sure what everything it is you do, but whatever it is, I want the top and I want the best, and run it now. And we erroneously and foolishly thought, wow, our presentation rocks. We are fantastic. $24,000 inside of 17 minutes. We should be doing this all the time. And we ran his card. And as you might imagine, we soon discovered that he's a little bit odd.
Are you saying people that wear crazy colored socks are odd? Just for the record, because we are recording this.
Well, yes, and I wish oh, darn it. So, by the way, a friend and client of mine started the Sock of the Month Club. And it's really good. And my Sock of the Month came yesterday, and my son was making fun of it. My wife was laughing at it, and Josh, my friend and partner, stole it. So I would show you my socks, except I don't have any on because they were taken.
Josh is a good looking guy. I'd say he has socks appeal. That's for sure. I would say.
So yeah, those pillars are so important to line up, and the commitment piece and how we handle the commitment piece. Good Lord, that's important.
What do you think, just as a quick question, what do you think of the 6? What do you think is the biggest mistake made by veteran business coaches who think they know how to do masterminds, but they're taking the plunge for the first time? Because that's a very different audience than someone that's not a veteran at it, right? Someone that's a veteran business coach that's coached a lot, and now they're finally going to the one-to-many instead of one-to-one. They're taking the plunge. Which of the 6 do you think they violate the most, or it's the most dangerous for them to violate?
That's actually a really good question. Can we just share the 6 so that people can see it, and then I can make the comment? Because I'd like people to be able to actually hold this. And I'm going to share my screen, and you let me know if that actually shows up there. Do you see that?
So far, it's Calgary at night. No, here we go. We got it.
So in the 90-day Launch Your Mastermind Bootcamp, and this is just I just grabbed a quick slide to outline it. Can I make that bigger for you? Let me just try.
Clear, but very tiny.
How's that? Is that bigger and better?
It's better.
Okay. So what I just wanted to go through with people, just so we're on the same page. So the 6 modules are also, of course, the 6 elements that are necessary for masterminds to work. And it starts with perfect positioning. So this is you, your group, your business model. Then it's your personal evolution, being the leader that your tribe wants to follow. Then it's fill your masterminds with ease. This is events and conversations that convert. Then it's member commitment. So the ultimate stick strategies of how we keep people moving and shaking. Then it's facilitating skills. And then it's compelling content that keeps them coming back. So those are the 6. And when they're lined up, God, it's miraculous. And when they're not, it is an epic issue. So I just wanted people to have that frame of reference. And I'm just going to go back to being able to see you. I prefer that. There we go. So in my humble opinion, an experienced coach moving from one-to-one to one-to-many, in my humble opinion, usually makes two mistakes. And so I'm going to talk about both of them. And it's
Right.
a unique issue based upon the coach. And the top of the list is they don't master facilitator skills. So they're a great consultant. They are an absolutely fantastic one-on-one coach. I can see your business. I can see what's going on, all the rest of it. And when you and I are having this conversation, I'm a rock star, you get incredible value, and we knock it out of the park. And then the unconscious assumption is, well, if I can do this one-on-one, I'll just put a couple more people in the room and it'll be fantastic. And what ends up happening is they don't know how to truly lead, manage, and I'm going to use the word control, but it's not the right word, guide and control a group so it doesn't turn into these fiascos of side talking, people getting grumpy, somebody dominating the floor, which sometimes is them. They cannot run a group. And I just want to say to any of you who are veteran and fantastic coaches who want to scale, you got to master facilitating skills. And it is not something, number one, that's easy to learn because there aren't a bunch of choices to do it. And it's something that you can't learn just online. It's one of the reasons like we have a bonus for this program, which is a live event in Vegas. And in large part, that live event in Vegas is for people to be able to practice their facilitating skills with a group of peers to be able to run this. Like when I was at your event in Vegas, Tom, one of the things I really appreciated is number one, you're an exceptional facilitator. Number two, you are transparent about the process of facilitating, and you kept giving people hints about, so this is why I do this. This is what you could do. This is, and I got to tell you, I think because most people don't understand what it is and how it works. I was surprised at the number of people that weren't taking notes. It was like, you know what? We run a facilitator development program. We charge $5,000, and he just gave you tips and hints and tools that are worth at least half that money. Like, write that shit down.
Well, and as you know, almost all of those lessons are learned the hard way because no one teaches it for the most part, right? Until they've been through the ringer like you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's a really big deal.
So to that particular point, then, if a business coach recognizes that weakness, should they learn to be good facilitators, or should they frankly just hire a great facilitator to come in and do that and just participate?
Well, that's a really great question. Here's my personal preference, and please understand it's just my personal preference, is that I think learning facilitating skills is one of the most powerful abilities on planet Earth. And I think if you're in business, if you're in the coaching arena, if you're in a position of leading groups and those sorts of things, it's just a skill you should master. You know, like, it's just an epically important skill. I think it's top of the list. So my preference is I would like people to learn it. And then if you still wanted to bring in special facilitators for events process, hell, go to town. But it's a little bit like technology to me, is that, so I run a mastermind called the Online Business Breakthrough. And one of the qualifying requirements, so, you know, going back to commitment is so my application, my conversation, all those things, one of the qualifiers is that the members are required, please hear this, whether they want to or not, they are required to dedicate themselves to an operating knowledge of their technology that they're going to use. Now, I don't expect them to be jumping into Infusionsoft to send their email once they understand what's going on. But I do expect them to, if I were to say, you know what, the life of your children depends on you sending an email to these 17 people today. Can you go do it? That they'd go, well, of course I can go do it. I'll open it up. I don't want them wasting their time with that in the big picture, but they need to have an operating knowledge so that, number one, they're not getting bullshitted by the people who are running it. And number two, they really genuinely get the interrelationship of the pieces so they can run their business. So it's just, to me, it's one of those requirements. You don't have to do it. You do need to know what it is.
Right. That's actually a really good point, because if you don't know what good facilitating is versus, you know, good coaching, then you actually think it's more good coaching. I remember first stumbling across that in a board environment where the person said the chairman of the board should never be the person leading the conversation on any topic, if whoever's chairing the meetings. Yep. And that's why, you know, in actual boards, the chair rarely chairs the meetings, because they want to have influence over the room, but they don't want to be the chair. They know they shouldn't be at the same time. So, okay, so that's the one, right? Not facilitating. What's the second mistake experienced business coaches make from your perspective?
Well, in my humble opinion, it is this piece of personal evolution, and it is who they are being in the process. And I want to be really clear about this. Sometimes people take this personally, but I'm not trying to be pokey about it, but I am trying to up level and challenge people to be on their learning curve and on the edge of their learning curve. And I want to be as clear as I can. I think particularly in the business arena. Of course, I have a foot in both. I have 25 years in the personal development and transformation piece. I've spent more like last 5 to 7 years more and more business stuff. But what I perceive is that lots of coaches in that world want to maintain a particular image and want to continue to sing the same tune under the guise of this is my expertise and this is what I know how to do and all of those pieces. And what I think happens is that coaches stagnate. They get too positioned about being right. They're not hanging their ass out in the wind, learning something new on the edge enough. And, I'll just use this example. And what I said at the beginning when you and I were chatting is that we're at the end of this launch process today. I have learned more and I've had more fun in the last, I'm going to say 21 days. Josh might disagree. He's my launch manager. But I have learned more, and I've been very transparent about that learning with my partners, with my family, with my clients, all of those pieces. But in large part, what this is about for me is I said 2.5 years ago, I want to learn this process. I want to master what this actually means. And I want to be able to have this, the good, the bad, the ugly, as an additional resource for my mastermind members. So here's an interesting piece of this. My online business breakthrough mastermind members, it's a premium program. It's $15,000. The positioning of that is I'm going to go invest my time, my energy, my resources, my money. I'm going to go sign up and hire consultants. I'm going to do, and I think I hired one of the best consultants in the world, Justin Livingston, on this process, and I've been deeply grateful. I'm going to do all of that. I don't purport to have it mastered. I don't purport to even be good at it yet. But I tell you what, I am going to share everything I learn, and I will serve and support you to do the same and to learn from my mistakes. I literally have, I have 7 people behind me waiting for this to end who, the plan is to come and jump off my back, and I want to lift them as best I can in the process. So it's that consistent edge, as opposed to saying, and I'm just making this up, I don't have a person in mind for this, is I'm the LinkedIn expert and I can get your LinkedIn stuff really rocking and rolling, and 17 years later they're going to be the LinkedIn expert when LinkedIn doesn't exist anymore. And I'm exaggerating for emphasis, but I really think that that's a big issue.
Yeah, love it. Actually, and now that's interesting because you and I are obviously so immersed in being on that edge and continually testing and experimenting that sometimes we don't realize that there's lots of other people in our field that aren't. And that's a good observation. It's like when people talk about, 72% of people hate their job. Even though intellectually I get that, I have a difficult time relating to it because I don't hang with those people and I don't want to hang with those people. And I actually help people that are in that space for the last 29 years get out of that space.
Exactly. Come this way.
Just start your own damn business. Quit whining. But you're right. I mean, there are a lot of coaches, a lot of business coaches that are in that market, and that's it. That's it. They do what they do, and that's it. Oh, thank you for that. Those are really good insights. So for those listening in, we should talk a little bit about what we want to do to encourage you to get Jay's program today. And as Jay mentioned earlier, today's it. He locks it out. It's done. I'm sure Jay will do this again because he's learning a lot and he's getting a lot of people on board, but it's going to be months away before you can participate. And frankly, with the model that he's put together, in the next 90 days, you can get up and running and profiting from this. So
can I tell you a story just before we do this because before we dive into those details, I want to just say that I am a raving fan of learning, but here's the but, learning with ROI.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And this is one of the things that I think, before we talk about the details, that too many too many coaches, consultants, authors that are trying to get a start run around buying programs. And it's like, oh, there's the program that's going to save me, because that's the one that gets, I learn to, speak to sell, or I'm going to learn my Facebook ads, or I'm going to learn, and it's a Band-Aid strategy. That's a program that doesn't get rolled out. So here's, I just want to frame this piece that's coming, is that I don't want anyone to think of the Launch Your Mastermind 90-Day Bootcamp as a program. Is it a program? Well, sure it is, because we're going to teach you how to do it, and we're going to hold your hand, and but that's not really what we're doing. What we're really doing is this, is you are making an investment into a business model that trades low or no leverage activities for high leverage activities. And that's what we're talking about here. And this is not a Band-Aid. This is not a one-time strategy. We are talking about shifting your thinking, heart, mind, and soul, and supporting you with step-by-step processes, with manuals, with templates, with do this, say this, go there, do that. That shifts from low or no leverage to high leverage. And if you get it, if just in terms of our program, if you put one group together at $97 a month for a year, 10 people in the group, one group together, your return on investment, because it has to have ROI, otherwise it doesn't, in my world, it doesn't count. The return on investment is over 500%. One group, 10 people, 500%. It's a little better than a term deposit. And
it's even better than the Canadian Tire credit card interest.
Yes.
Some guy said to me yesterday, he said, well, if I have to do that, I'll put it on my Canadian Tire credit card then.
And you should. You should. And there's a lady, Carol Schulte, and I love her. I met her when I was doing work with Laurel Langmeyer in Toronto. She watched our very first video, was so on fire and inspired that in 48 hours, she positioned her mastermind, and in 24 hours, sold it out and was in profit in 3 days before she even signed up for the program. Now, she's going to step that up to a premium program, which obviously she'll rock. Anyway, I just wanted to be really clear when we talk about this. I don't want people to be filtering this through. It's like, oh, I'm going to buy a program, and this. Don't invest in your business. Get out of the spin of low leverage. Get into the freedom of high leverage. And now I'll stop talking. Go, Tom.
Well, but I think the part I want to echo there is it's a strategy that's scalable. Right? It's a strategy that's scalable. Therefore, even when I was talking to David this morning, I mentioned you before we got on air, he was concerned about, will I have time for it? I'm like, David, the whole point is you make time for this because it's about leveraging your time. It's truly shifting one-to-one to one-to-many. And if someone's listening to this call and you're still in the one-to-one model where most of your money is made one-to-one, this is about changing that. And I'm not saying like stop working one-to-one. What I am saying is free up your life so you're not required to work one-to-one, right? Yeah. You still can do one-to-one, just charge a lot more for it.
Yes. And do it when you want, not because you have to pay your mortgage.
Right. You got to cover the bills. So cool. All right. So let's talk about what we want to throw in as well, what we committed to throw in. We've got 4 items we're adding in. And they total altogether $10,000 in value. Our tribe has already seen that. They've seen the breakdown. We just wanted to give you some color and some impact around it. The first thing, we're now partnering with Cheryl Wallowik from Expert Elevation. Cheryl's coming in and becoming a full partner in Midas Group, our parent company. And we are going to take our mastermind program and turn it into an online live hybrid and take it global. And we're super excited. She's vastly overqualified. She is wise beyond her years. And Alan is convinced he'll never get a word in edgewise between her and I now.
Which, by the way, she is truly one of the smartest, kindest, and most humble people on planet Earth. Like when I first met her, I was just like, I love that woman. So good for you guys. That's fantastic.
We're so excited. And as part of that, she said, well, why don't I give my top program, my Expert Elevation group coaching program, which she sells for $1,997 to $2,000. She sells it for $2,000. Why don't I give that to all of your tribe? And so that's the first thing. And If you go to expertelevation.com, you can see the details. I'm not going to go through it here, other than to say it's all about accelerating income using multiple strategies, including how to tie in the mastermind with it. So it's synergistic. It's about more cash flow, and from one of the sharpest, best people I know. So much so that Alan and I literally are she's getting a third of our company in this model because we think it's that powerful for us to be listening to her, let alone all of our clients. So that's number one.
That's stunning. All right.
Yeah. and she's actually launching that exact program. She just launched it this week, and that's what people have invested. And so it's a real program with real returns. It's designed to be far higher. In fact, I could announce here to those listening, this September, late September, we are going to be doing an income acceleration live event, because no matter what we found for our mastermind members, the number one thing they talk about is more leads, more conversion. More leads, more conversion. And you and I both know, Jay, that's not the solution to scaling your business, but it is the solution to paying your bills. Right? It's the solution to paying your bills. And so we're going to do an annual event. We've just set the dates. It'll be the last part of September. This will become one of our 3 big annual events, with the Strategic Alliance Summit being the second one, the Income Acceleration Program, and another one we'll talk about another day. Second, we took a look at what's the most valuable tool we have in our toolkit right now that would help people running their own mastermind set up multiple masterminds. Because even though you talk about 500% ROI, one mastermind, $97, that's one night a week or one night a month. That's not a full schedule, right? That's not a full schedule. And so if you're going to create multiple masterminds, you need to have partners. You need to have strategic alliances. So we're going to give our entire Strategic Alliance Mastery Program, which so far has only been available to people that are coming to the summits live. Yeah. We're going to give that to anyone that buys your program today or has already bought from our tribe. And that comes with about $35,000 in legal templates on how to structure these deals, how to put them together. You'll save tons just on the legal fees. You'll still want to take it to a lawyer and vet it, but you'll get the template. Now you can hire a good attorney or a good lawyer to tweak it, rather than Uncle Joe down the street and try and get him to get some template out of his library that may or may not be used in the real world.
So Tom, I just have to tell you, in terms of the live training, we do a bunch of interactive stuff, and on the commitment, I talk about templates and contracts and those sorts of things. I cannot tell you how many people were asking for exactly that. And it's like, I have a couple, here they are, but I know the ones that you have that are way more advanced than what we have. That is a killer bonus, like killer bonus.
Yeah, thank you. And it's also one of those things where, I love lawyers and attorneys when you use them right, but I hate wasting money on them. Mm-hmm. Right? There's no way you should be paying for templates. You should be paying for advice to modify templates and make it work in your situation. Absolutely. But not for templates. Not for templates. Sorry, guys. It's just too much money down the drain. Put your money in on lead gen or something else. The third thing we're doing is many of you met us through our high-end business golf seminars, the Quantum Business Golf Seminars. Many of you got on our list from that, or been at our programs, or signed up for the programs. And as you know, Alan has been working on taking the business golf part of that high-end program, because people have paid as much as $10,000 a person for a 3.5-day program, and pull out just the business golf part. And we've branded it Business Golf Bootcamp. Business Golf Bootcamp. And it will be an online program coupled with a live event once a year. And that will launch this fall. And nice. Alan is completing his book, Zero to Trust in 18 Holes. And the entire program for the Business Golf Bootcamp will be all about how do you create 6- and 7-figure incomes on the golf course. And so if you're a golfer, you want to take it. If you're not a golfer and you buy Jay's program, give it to someone who is. Yep. Give it to someone who is. Because golf, the thing about golf, it's not about business golf. It's not about the golf. It's actually not about the golf at all. It's about creating a high trust relationship quickly and deeply, so that you know whether or not you want to partner with this person, whether or not you want them as a client, whether or not you want them involved in your operation quickly and easily. You get more insights to someone's character in 4 hours on a golf course than you'll get in 20 power lunches with someone.
Yeah. So can I just add to that?
Yes.
Because that's a tip and a trick that, it's not a trick, but it's just people miss it. So like over and over again in the live calls, I've been asked, so like, where do you advertise? Like, where do we do it? It's like, you know what? You go meet people. You go meet people and you do things with them and you find out if you like them. And then if you like them, then you find out, could you be of value to them? And if you could be of value to them, then you invite them. Like this isn't you're not running an ad in a newspaper. This isn't a Facebook dark post. This is, you meet them. If you like them, can you contribute? Like it seems silly, but sometimes we got to like back up the bus. And golf is just one of those perfect environments and contexts to do that. And by the way, it could be golf, it could be cars, it could be, I don't care what it is, but that's, anyway, I just want to say, in echoing those questions, what your solution is brilliant.
Well, and that's why your wine strategy, your wine night works so well, because you're not pitching, you're not, here's my PowerPoint presentation. You're having a conversation, right? You're building a genuine, deep, high trust relationship. So I know, and you know, that all amazing deals come when you've got a high trust relationship. And you can make some money on a low trust relationship, but you don't have amazing deals. You don't have amazing results ever, right? Affiliate partners, promotion partners, even, there's people that mail and then there's people that support, right? And the difference is, do you trust it? Do you trust it? As we got to know you over the last year, our trust went higher and higher and higher and higher. And so part of the reason we went all in is because we know you're going to deliver and we know you got their backs, right? There's no question on our side, like no question at all. I haven't had a single comment from Alan or anyone else on our team. Why are you mailing so much for Jay? Because they all get it. They all know of you and believe in you now. And that's because we have a high trust relationship. So that's what the Business Golf's about. We're going to launch it at $997 and do the first program this fall. And the next year it'll be $1997. And if you get in on the very first launch of that this fall. And Alan's going to just crush it. I've seen the advanced copies of his book, Zero to Trust in 18 Holes. It's awesome. And it really captures the essence of it. So that's the first three. And then the last thing, I added this in against the advice of Cheryl and Alan. Because as you know, Jay, we're scaling, we're doing our empire building. We got a lot of stuff on the go right now. And they both said, whatever you do, just don't put anything that takes a lot of your time because you don't have it. And I was going to just stop there, and there's the totally full value there. Everyone be happy. But I realized, what happens when you're rapidly growing your business is I need someone to give me third-party perspective as I'm rapidly growing. And those little tweaks are so helpful in an explosive growth phase.
Yes.
And so what I'm committing to do is to do what I call a VIP strategy session. When I charge for this, it's $5,000. It's a full hour of my time. I'm only going to do it once they've been through your program, Jay, because I want the strategy to include the strategy of masterminds, obviously. I want them to be implementing that, but I also know that fresh perspective from somebody that can look up above is worth a fortune. I mean, we've hired Jay Abraham and Rich Sheffrin. Our deal with them is they get 5% of the next 25 million in sales they help us generate. That's $1 million. You're going to get $1 million from us. That's what I'm paying my business coach. And we get an hour a month. An hour a month of what? Fresh perspective. That's all we're doing is getting fresh perspective. They're not doing anything tactical. They're not showing us how to write a headline, or sometimes they'll just, freestyle copy. But that's not what we're hiring them for. We're hiring them for fresh perspective continually to help make sure that we blow it up. And so I'm offering that to every single person on our tribe that steps up today. And it'll rock your world. It'll be worth it all right there. And I'm super excited about that. And I don't mind investing that time in you if you're going to go after this mastermind idea and you're going to really make it happen. I don't have any problem doing that, because guess what? We'll build a high trust relationship and we'll do business together too. So that's the package, Jay.
Yeah, and I know how busy you are. In fact, I have joked more than once, is like, I do a lot of things at one time, but I don't think I hold a candle to Tom. So I know how valuable your time is and all those things. So that is a stunning package. That is a stunning package. So on top of the bonuses, let's just recap what people get in our program.
Yes.
So you get the Launch Your Mastermind 90-day bootcamp. And in that Launch Your Mastermind 90-day bootcamp, you get 7 live coaching and training calls with me. Okay, so this is not passed off to somebody else. So you get them with me. And what transpires is simply this. We start with a welcome call, and then we open up and we release the content for the module. And they're the 6 modules we talked about: perfect positioning, your personal evolution, fill your mastermind with ease, your member commitment, facilitating skills, and creating compelling content. So those are the modules. And what happens is you have the module for a week. You do all of the work. Then we have a live coaching call, and then you go and you tweak and adjust that for another week, and then we release the next module. And we just work our way all the way through it. And that process, if you follow the steps, when you follow the steps, literally at week 3.5, you have your positioning so clear that you can go and have meaningful conversations and start inviting the right people into high trust relationships, see if they want to come play. We work on whatever is necessary for your alignment in terms of getting those 6 pieces put together. And then literally in the Fill Your Mastermind with Ease, you're going to run 2 events, one online, one face-to-face. And going through those pieces, that takes you halfway through, you will have paying clients. You will have paying clients. This thing will pay for itself. So that's that entire process. There's, of course, a VIP member forum where I and my mastermind mentors tweak, test, give you feedback, answer your questions, help you deal with considerations for your mastermind members. We go through all of those pieces. There's a special, we talk about facilitating skills. In the facilitating skills process, we actually put you into groups of 4 where using Google Hangouts, you practice facilitating what we call breakthrough hot seat strategies, so that you actually learn to pull out the most important aspects of your mastermind members' goals and issues to serve and support them. So that is that entire process, and it's $19.97. So killer value for that process. You get all of the manuals in terms of the mastermind members manual. So your crew has a manual. You get the mentors manual. That is a doc file you adjusted for your own process, which in my humble opinion, those 2 things are worth more than what we're charging for the whole program, let alone your bonuses, all of those pieces. Those 2 things, hell, I spent way over $15,000 designing, developing, testing, trying, and adapting that process. Like, it's good. But they get all of those pieces, and they get the live event in Vegas, which is December 4th through 6th. So there's the live event, a whole bunch of leaders from all over the world. We have people from South Africa. We have people from Germany registering and enrolling. We got people from France registering and enrolling. Like, it's going to be a cool thing. But we're going to come together as leaders, honing our mastermind skills and preparing what we're going to bring to the world in 2016. So that is December. Or did I say December? It's 4th through 6th. I got to get the days right. December 4th through 6th in Vegas. And on top of that, and I think this is one of the things to really, I want to incent, and I'll give you a little tweak here as well, is that on top of Tom's time, and he's brilliant and has those experiences, is that to make sure that your, let's call it positioning and grounding and communication is right, is we will also give you a session with one of our mastermind mentors right out of the gate, one-on-one. And I want to be clear about this. And this is the difference between, I think, most online programs, like, oh, great, there's your access, who cares? But we will give you one-on-one time for you to craft that positioning and move forward this. Because again, I don't want to sell you a program. What I want you to do is to launch a mastermind that transforms how you go about your business. So those are the pieces that you get for $19.97, plus all of Tom's kick-ass and amazing bonuses. I mean, that is exceptional. So basically, that boils down. You're adding $10,000. We're adding another $500, another $1,000, $15. it's $12,000 of bonuses on top of the 1997 program, which is going to knock your freaking socks off. So anyway, here's my point. Here's my invitation. Here's what I have to say about this, is that everything we do comes with a 100% money back guarantee. You do the work. If it doesn't exceed and transform and like start your hair on fire, you simply write us a note. We'll write you a check, send your money back. I do not want anyone's money who's not satisfied 1,000%. You got nothing to lose. And literally, you could pay for this thing. If you were like Carol Schulte, you could pay for it, the whole thing, and be in profit in 3 days.
Before this video ends, you could do it.
Hell, yes.
Love it. So, love it, Jay. I'm excited. I'm pumped. Thank you for squeezing this in. I know you got lots to do. For those listening to this, there you go. You've got enough reason to make a decision. One of Jay's visions on the weekend was make a decision, yes or no. That's my challenge to you. Make a decision, yes or no. Jay and I both have no problem. If you're not ready to step up at this stage in your business, that's totally cool. You've made a decision. Congratulations. But if you are ready to step up, we'll help you. We'll help you crush it. Step up. Click on the links wherever they are on this page. You're going to have them somewhere below, probably, Josh.
Yep.
And let's get it done.
Okay. Thank you, Tom. Deeply appreciate your support and the conversation. It's always great to be able to talk about Mastermind fiascos and wins. Take care, brother. Bye-bye.